Hey everybody, welcome back to Mary Bird's Backyard Garden. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mary.
And we're here for another update on the backyard garden.
Coming into summer.
Yes. It's
looking beautiful.
Extremely warm outside here in Texas.
It's extremely warm.
It has. I think we had 100 once maybe.
Oh my goodness.
It's been hot. It's been a hot one.
Plants have been loving it, I have to say.
They have. They've done well.
Yeah.
You've done a good job of making sure they're set up for success, I'll say.
Ooh. Well, they've only just got a taste of the heat, but I think they're doing pretty good so far.
They are. They're doing really well. So, as we always do, Mary, what's new in the garden this week?
Oh, I have a small plant to talk about. It's not really small. It's pretty large, but it's on the smaller side of a crepe myrtle. Here in the South, we do love to grow our crepe myrtles, and we have pretty good weather for it here in our area. We have a bit of humidity during the summer. They kind of like it hot and a little bit more on the humid side. And we are growing an Acoma crepe myrtle.
Nice.
We have two of them actually. And this is a variety that doesn't get to be, it gets like maybe 12 feet tall. So it's a medium-sized crepe myrtle, and they're just now beginning their very first flush of blooms. They bloom white, and it's just covered with buds that are getting ready to break, and I'm excited about it. And so it's time to give it a good feed here in June. Crepe myrtles are pretty heavy feeders, so they like to be fed several times during the year.
Okay.
Yeah. And
what are we going to feed it?
Well, last year I actually used alfalfa pellets from the feed store. I got some organic alfalfa pellets, and they loved it. They loved it. So I do try to rotate. Usually I use Microlife fertilizer, like their all-round blend, and then I haven't done the alfalfa pellets this year. We haven't really put out a lot of fertilizer of any sort this year.
We haven't this year, no.
But, it's that time right now, time before it gets too awful hot. Mm-hmm.
It's going to get hotter?
Oh.
Yes, it will. It will. It is hot, but it's definitely, we're definitely summery. We're summery here in Texas.
Well, do you have any new items to talk about?
The only thing I have that was new was that I was trying to help you with a little fountain that we had. It's a small fountain. It's a little like not portable, but it's small. Mm-hmm. And we needed to get the plug through the bottom hole.
Yes, we did.
Terracotta pot.
Because I came in the house and I was very grumpy. It won't fit.
And for all you people out there who've ever tried to do anything in a terracotta pot, they are nearly impossible to cut. So it had a little hole, but it wasn't big enough. And so...
Well, this is a glazed terracotta with a very thick
It's very thick,
bottom.
Thick, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to just expand it. I thought I'd be able to just get a drill bit and just kind of work on it a little bit on the sides, and the drill bit did absolutely nothing. I ended up using a Dremel that had a little attachment on it that was, it took quite a bit. It took a couple hours.
At least a couple of hours.
Took a couple hours just to expand the hole, probably, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch or more, just to be able to get the plug through. But we did get it. We got that through. And then we were able to seal that with some sealant, the hole, so it wouldn't leak.
That's right.
And And then you set it up. We plugged it in. You set it up, and it looks good. We'll have to get a picture of it out on our social media.
I've been really wanting to have like a little tabletop fountain for a good many years. And so I was thrilled that you were able to work on it.
Yeah, and it looks nice. And I guess, you would call it a tabletop fountain.
It's in a container. It is in a shallow bowl type container that's probably, 15 inches across maybe.
Yeah.
So it's like a medium-sized.
Yeah, it's not huge, but the terracotta just if you guys out there try it's almost impossible to get through. So I'm sure there's other tools you can use to do it. I don't know. I tried everything I had, and I ended up with the Dremel, and that actually worked.
I do have to congratulate you for your perseverance. It was a wonderful. It was
an adventure. The Dremel kept running out of
that was hilarious.
out of power. We had to keep charging it and trying it again. So,
and I think at one point you actually tried to do a file. I
did. I tried to do a file. I tried to use a file, and it just nothing worked except the Dremel. So they're very, very. I mean, that's a good thing if you have them. Just know that they're very sturdy. But if you're trying to do anything with them, or if you need a hole in one, I would recommend finding out what it has in it already and see if that'll work for you. Because it's really hard to just expand the hole a little bit. So that was my excitement.
It worked out beautifully. I'm very happy about it.
It did. It looks good. It looks good. We have it out there on the porch on a table, so it looks good. The pump that I got requires a plug-in device. I know they have solar pumps, but the one that was available at our local home improvement store was a plug-in variety, and I just wanted to give it a try. Yeah, looks good. So I'll say it was successful. Took a while. I wasn't anticipating it taking more than about 10 minutes, but ended up taking about 2 hours. So.
We were sweating.
Yeah, it worked good. We had the puppies help us, so that was good.
The puppies were helping.
Well, good. I think that's all I had. I think we purchased a few more pavers. We have a paver project we're working, trying to get the pavers from our little garden and then make a little walkway. And we're doing that. We're doing it about 4 at a time. They're heavy. They take time to actually do, and we're not in a hurry to try to do it in one weekend. So,
and we're not doing it permanently. We're doing it to where we can live with it for a bit and see if it's really going to work.
Right.
It may not, so.
Yeah, but
I want to put in all that effort and then.
No, absolutely. And it's, I mean, obviously you can do it in a day. I mean, nobody's saying you can't. But it's been good. We're doing, I think, 4 at a time. Kind of working our way through it, and then we'll see how it works out, see what it looks like, and if we don't like it, we can change the design and go from there.
I have to say, it surprisingly, it makes a big difference in the, what would you say, like the decorativeness of the garden. I didn't expect that much of an impact, but the few pavers that we have in front of our little kitchen garden, it's like a childhood experience to go out there and walk along the pavers, and it looks very pretty, I have to say.
It does. It looks really good. Really good. So we'll get the rest in. We'll get there. It's going to take us a little while. We'll take our time. Do them early morning here in Texas.
Yeah.
We're not getting out there when it's 100. So
sadly, part of the garden that is getting a little bit out of hand is we do have our I think it's called Dallas grass and some Bermuda grass that, it blows in on the wind, or it probably comes in on the birds, and it definitely grows from the grass we have growing in the yard. And so it's gotten into the flower beds. I think that's going to have to be in our future. But, they're pretty easy to pull out. They're not that hard. Yep. And this year, I have to say, a lot of our plantings have grown together, so we don't have as much work to do as we have in the past.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We're having less and less each year, so that's a good thing. But we'll get out there, and again, we'll early morning. We'll hit it early morning. Well, good. Do you have anything else that was new?
I believe that is what I have for this week.
Okay. I know we have a couple topics for this week, and I'm going to kick it over to you for the first one. What do we have?
Well, on the table, it's on our back porch, and the table is where we do some holding of barbecue utensils or dishes when we're outside barbecuing. And we put the little tabletop fountain on it. And it is a table that Jeff and I built, which I do love very much. And we put together a succulent container, which I've been wanting to do for years, really. I think I found a picture of one that was adorable many years ago when we lived in an apartment. that's how long ago, what would that be, like 7 years? But anyway, while we were prowling around town, we went to a garage sale or estate sale, and I found an old tackle box, and it was metal with all the little dividers in it and everything. It has one layer on the bottom and one layer where you open it that has partitions on the top. So last year I had Jeff drill holes all over the bottom for me, so it has really good drainage. And that was another project that took a while because it's pretty thick metal, but he stuck with it. I have to applaud him. Anyways, so this year, we woke up one morning. I don't know why we got started on these projects, but it was just one of those days, a piddle around sort of day. And I was outside, and I decided to use whatever succulents that we had growing already. We didn't go to the store for any of our material. I used, I had some coir basket liners that we've used for several years, and they've kind of gotten out of shape and stuff like that. So I just pulled that apart and made like a fluffy liner so that the cactus mix would not fall through the holes in the bottom, and built it up sort of even around the lip of the bottom tray. And then the top tray is more coconut coir than it is the sand. And so what we did was I layered the coir, and then I put on a good draining sandy, sort of like a cactus mix. It has coarse sand, a little bit of regular potting soil, and some perlite, I think, was in there. And so it's really well draining. And we clipped off the tops of a lot of the succulents we have growing around in the yard. And so I love to watch Laura Eubanks, and she does a lot of succulent designs. I believe she's in California. And I was channeling my inner inspiration from her. And so a lot of our succulents have a rosette type look to them. And I did use those, and I kind of started out making the initial design along the front of the container where the succulent is a little bit presenting over the edge, not hanging over the edge, but just kind of the face of it. And I think a lot of them were echeverias. And so I used jade plants, I used echeverias, I used, we call them, I think they call them out here a gray ghost. It's a gray succulent that grows in full sun, and it has really thick lobes on it. And I filled in around those with lots and lots of little aloes, and I broke off I went around the garden, whatever I could find, I just broke some of the tops off of it. Or if they were putting out pups, I think like hen and chicks is one. And I gathered a lot of those little pups, and I just filled in. And I tried not to leave spaces between. I tried to make a display that looked full, but these are going to be like rooted cuttings, basically. So what you do is you don't water them. You plant them into your mix, and the mix wasn't moist or anything like that. And you don't water it for I'm going to try going a week. And that allows all the cut edges to heal over so you don't rot your succulent. Well, one of the problems was, as I was gathering, was we've been having a lot of rain. Some of our containers did not happen to drain out very well, and we were running into issues. So by cutting off the tops of the succulents, I was able to save a lot of plants that were kind of going south.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And it's colorful, and it's
It looks
decorative.
really nice. Yeah, it's really cool.
And it makes a beautiful display with our brand new tabletop water fountain. So the fishing tackle box is kind of a dark green. Of course, it's quite rusty, and it's really cute. I like it.
Yeah, no, it looks really good. And we still have another tackle, another tool.
Do.
More, maybe a tool tackle box that we purchased, another old one that we already drilled the holes in. So you have another one you get to play with.
And that one is large enough to use some larger.
It is, yeah, it's bigger.
Larger ones. And hopefully I'll be able to go and visit a really good succulent nursery here in Austin and get some ideas for that one, because it's a black container. So maybe some different colors would look really pretty in that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It does. It looked really good. I mean, I know you've been wanting to do it for a while, so it's kind of nice to get that done. But it looks really, really nice.
Well, one of the advice tidbits that Laura Eubanks always gives is when she cuts her succulents, she says that if you could put the succulent into your mix and it can stand up, it will root. So you don't have to worry about getting it really, really hard pushed down into the soil. And on the top, it's so shallow that I think it'll root out really nicely. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, very cool. It came out really nice. We'll put some pictures up. And I think we already did. We posted a picture, I think, on our Instagram.
We did.
But we'll try and get some put into the blog as well.
Absolutely.
And over on our website. Well, nice.
If you're interested in growing a succulent planter like this, you could really look around also, as well as the ones that I talked about before. You could look about donkey's tails, or you might try what's called a string of pearls. And those two might cascade over the side and look really cool. I love donkey's tails. The little pads are so round and squishy and chubby.
Yeah.
They just look really cute.
Nice.
But yeah. And then when you get ready to water, watch your succulents, and at first don't overflow it with water. But if the leaves begin to look like they're using up all the water inside, give it a good old water and then let it go for a long time. And that's my plan.
Very nice. Well, it came out really nice. And that was some good information on the succulents, but it did come up really nice. I think one of the things that kind of showed us is you can use, we do like to go to estate sales and garage sales and stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
And we generally don't go for like home type stuff, but we do look for things like that we can use in the garden. So decorative items or items you can use as planters. And so I would encourage you, if you get a chance to go out there, if you have those in your area, go take a look and see, and to kind of look at things maybe a little different way than not what they're traditionally used for. We've used old water buckets.
Oh, love that.
And we've used these. So there's lots of stuff you can use that actually look really cool in the garden.
They do. Yeah. Yes.
Nice. All right. Thank you. I know that we have a couple other items we wanted to cover, and one of them actually was a tasty item, but I know you're going to talk about the plant. But what is the next item you had?
It is a tromboncino. I do believe that we talked about it last week when we had our son as a guest on the podcast. And he's growing them in his backyard. They grow rampantly for him. And here they're doing quite well. He said we could expect them to grow like 25 feet. Oh my goodness. Ours is not that long. Ours has gotten to be approximately 9 feet long. And the leaves on it are about maybe a foot wide. And they're really beautiful. It is a beautiful plant.
It's a squash plant.
It is a summer squash, and it's an Italian variety. And in the Baker Creek catalog, I think it doesn't list it as tromboncino. It lists it under a different name, and that's where I sourced the seeds.
Yeah, it does have a little bit of a different name. I'll look it up here for you while you're going. But it's got a... Zucchino Rampicante.
There you go.
Rampicante.
Yes.
So, but that is definitely the one that we had. So
they grow to be quite large, and I think it grew. When I harvested it, it was probably 2 feet long, and we sliced it.
It was about because it grows in a U shape.
It does.
And so I was able to put it around my neck and play with play with it a little bit.
That was very cute.
I know you took that and you cooked it up for us as well.
The interesting part about what I liked about it was when you sliced it, it's got a nice meaty texture to it. It doesn't have a lot of seeds. Like throughout the whole neck, there was no seeds. And the skin of the plant cooked up very tenderly with no bitterness when we made it for dinner. I mean, you could feed like 6 people off of one.
Yeah, it was good.
And one of those squash.
I'm an extremely picky eater, and it was really good. I mean, trust me, if there was something off, I probably wouldn't have eaten it. But it was really good the way you did it. You sautéed it, and
I used olive oil. Yes, I did. My daughter loves I can't remember the name of it, but it's really good olive oil. And I actually did see it in Target. And you can, I sautéed it and I let it brown a little bit and crisp up and get a little golden, and salt and pepper.
Yeah,
and
it was easy, very easy. And
easy.
Our son in Florida was a chef, and he kind of talked to us on. I think he mentioned on the podcast last week how the best way to cook it for him. I'm sure there's other ways, but that actually worked out really well. It was really, really good.
Well, it's a winner in my book, I have to say.
Yeah, it's a do-over. We'll definitely call it a do-over.
It's going to be a do-over, yeah.
We like to, if we try new stuff, that's kind of our thing. Is this a do-over, or is this a never going to do it again?
Yeah.
That one's a do-over, so we'll do that one again.
Yay. And you can find the seeds in the Baker Creek seed catalog.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing that it grew from seed because it's just so big. And it came out really well. I mean, and you've gotten those, but I do want to mention you've been able to pull some tomatoes out of the garden.
Yes.
I've pulled the peppers out, and we've been slicing them and eating them as well. So we're actually starting to eat. I mean, it's only, the 1st of June.
It's only 1st of June.
And we're able to start getting some stuff out. So that's pretty cool.
I'm beginning to get the Chinese red noodle beans, which is a heat-loving variety. And interestingly enough, I discovered that you can use the leaves as a green, like a salad green. I didn't know that before. But the Chinese red noodle beans have an excellent flavor.
Nice.
Really, really good.
Nice. Yeah, I don't think I've tasted that. I'll have to give that one a taste, and we'll give you the do-over and on that one, or I will personally. Well, good, very nice. Yeah, the zucchini was really good. So, I know you have a couple other things. What do you have next?
Well, the one thing that I was very happy to talk about that I'm loving this year, just loving, every time we go out our front door, we're greeted with in the front little garden bed right underneath the dining room windows, we have a planting of Silver Ponyfoot, which is a ground cover. It stays low to the ground, and it spreads very nicely. It's gotten so thick and pretty this year. But the contrast that has taken me by surprise this year is last year I put in a Supertunia, the Supertunia Vista bubblegum, and I planted those in that front little flower bed, and they went along. They did pretty good. But this year, they overwintered, and they have just created a mass of color. 2 plants overwintered for us and have come back, and they're just blooming so beautifully, and they're laying across the top of the Silver Ponyfoot. And the color combination is just really taking my breath away. I'm just thrilled with that. And we have a a Anatua orchid tree that's growing up, and it's not a heavy foliage plant. It's very lacy foliage, and it's just beautiful in that planting. I do have to say, I'm super excited about this petunias because I never thought that they would overwinter for us. Maybe it was a mild winter. Maybe that is what encouraged it. We'll have to keep a lookout. But this year, we did have our Blue Daze at DAZE, and it's a little blue mounding plant that is in the same family as the Morning Glory family. And they overwintered for us as well this year and have just been happy out there in the garden, just growing like crazy. And I've loved it. So the Vista series of petunias are classified as self-cleaning, which means that you don't really have to go in and deadhead them. They will create a flush of blooms, and as those blooms sort of fade, they'll go into the undergrowth and a new flush of blooms will come out. They do like to have several feeds or several supplemental nutrition during the year, whatever that is. I like to do an organic, if like we talked about before. And so they do like to have several of those a year. They are beautiful. I mean, they're so easy to grow. I've been really excited. Now, as we get a little bit into the season, I might have to go in and give it a trim back to encourage it to come back in the fall. Maybe we might give that a try. But the bubble gum has been a real winner for me.
Nice. Yeah, it does look really cool out there. And the ground cover this year is like really covered everything. It's blocked any weeds, anything else. So it's been really kind of nice to have that this year. Last year we had it, but it didn't have the full coverage, but this year it's covered the entire garden, so which is really cool.
The Silver Ponyfoot, you could also find it under the name Silver Falls. Sometimes they use it in containers to have a full, massive trailing feature come over the sides of the container, and it will do that. It is a Dichondra repens, and it's just been a real steady grower for us, a really vigorous. Actually, one of the things I do is, let's say it grows out and it comes over the sidewalk. I'll trim it back and I'll take those pieces and just lay them in other places in the garden, and it takes hold and starts growing.
Yeah, no, they do. I mean, it's really, really cool. And I was thinking, I haven't talked to you about this, but, we put our pavers down because naturally when we put that down, we're either going to have the grass or, well, in our case, it'll be grass. It's not going to be weeds, but we'll have grass growing in between them. So we can keep an eye on that. But I think one of the things, too, I think you could probably use some of that ground cover stuff, plants in between the pavers. That might be kind of cool looking.
Beautiful.
Kind of see. But it will keep out weeds if you have an area with weeds. I think the ground cover, like that one, absolutely smothered it. There are no weeds in there. I mean, there's just no place for them to grow.
The interesting thing about this is I have seen some people recommend to grow it. Let's say you're growing, well, maybe next year, let's say I want to grow some more squash, but I don't want the whole bed. The whole bed will not be covered as the squash grows, but I do want coverage, a low growing cover crop, I suppose you could say, or a living mulch. I think that's what I'm trying to say. And it can grow under your taller vegetables because the root system is not down into the ground. It's pretty close to the surface, but it really keeps the soil cooler underneath this Dichondra. I've noticed that several times as I've been working out in the yard. In our front yard, as soon as the sun comes up in the summer, it's blistering in the front yard. So for the petunias to be able to thrive, they don't do well as we progress in the year and it gets unbelievably hot. I think that's one of the exciting things is that they are flourishing. And I think the Silver Ponyfoot is creating a cooler environment for their roots.
Yeah.
Which, I love.
Yeah, it's cool.
Love.
We should. I know this. We've got it in a couple other places, but maybe we expand that a little bit and cut down on our weeding.
I am loving your idea. I love that.
And I know there's other ground cover too, but that one seems to grow really well here for us in Texas.
A lot of lawn companies are going to not want you to have the Dichondra repens. That's one of the things that they try to keep out of your lawn. It might compete with some of the grasses. I don't know, but it's a good grower. It's I like it. So it's working well for our application.
We're doing pavers inside of the little garden too. So we could always maybe put, like you said, put some in there.
I love
and
that
cut down
idea.
on having the weed. So
I love that.
Good idea. And it's cool looking. It really looks really nice. Right.
Well, it's one of our favorites. I have to say we're going to put it right up there at the top of our favorite list.
Good. Very nice. Very nice. What else you got?
I do believe that we're just coming into the good summertime weather. I'm looking forward to have lots of swimming opportunities and going garage sailing opportunities. And I'm really looking forward to focusing on not having the landscape and garden become overwhelming. I think that's one of my goals.
Well, you've been working on it for a long time now, so you're definitely got it to a point.
We do have sections that are starting to
you can just
come along,
kind of sit back and enjoy, which is nice. And then you add, it's nice to add to it. You like adding to it, which is great. But you're cutting down on the maintenance, which is nice. So. Nice for me.
And the super nice thing is that we're beginning to add more garden art. Instead of labor, we're adding more fun.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I like that.
So maybe we'll pick up some more things at the estate sales or garage sales we go to and add to it a little bit.
I love that. I really love that idea.
It's a lot of fun. And then with the birds, with the bird feeders we have, and with all the lizards running around, it's cool. It's like a little world out there.
My favorite thing. I love this very much. And I see it almost every single morning. We have those bright green lizards. I don't know if they're a knoll, perhaps. I'm not sure. But anyways, we have a black metal rail fencing. And in the morning times, they race along the top of that black fence as fast as they could go. And I just love that. Yeah,
it's really cool. It's kind of nice to... Yeah. I think that's how we started doing. We were sitting out there drinking coffee, and then you said, hey, I think I'm going to work on the succulent garden today.
Yes, I think that is what happened.
Right, sounds good.
Correct.
All right. Well, very good.
The one nice thing about that little succulent garden is I went along, let's say I had a jade plant and it's getting really top heavy. Well, I could just trim out the top. Then you just stick your little trimming into a container that well draining or whatever. And you just multiply your plants a little bit at a time. Or if there's a container of succulents that has a bare spot that's developed, well, you could just trim the top and poke it down in there and let it take hold, and it works beautifully. Nice. Well, very good. Cool tips. I like it. Thank you very much. All right. Anything else? No, I believe I have spoken all I could speak. Okay, I think I've said everything I need to say this week as well. Cool. I'm sure we'll have another exciting week for next week's podcast, and we're looking forward to that. I hope you guys join us next week as well. We appreciate you guys listening. If you get a chance, in the show notes you can see our social media. We do have a blog website out there it's marybirdgarden.com. We're on Instagram at marybirdgarden. And if you get a chance, go take a look at them. We do post some pictures out there and try to keep that updated as much as we can. So again, appreciate everyone joining. Happy gardening. And we'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.